Guess a lot of things are going. And coming. Oh. It's kind of funny how like every day is like its own, I want to say problem, but to keep it simple, yeah. You know. Cynical yet simple. Every day is like its own problem, its own I don't know, situation that you gotta, well, you don't gotta, but everybody's trying to just solve their daily thing, whatever it is. It's not to say that every single day has a completely unique, like, separate theme. There are plenty of, in fact, probably arguably for my life, most times where, I spend like a week on a problem, or maybe even upwards of a month on just one thought that just kind of spirals eventually into a mindset or you know, something articulated. This week's quandary, this week's situation has been sort of a, I guess, a ponderance, and also maybe in some sense a coming to terms with something that I find a little bit conflicting, and almost it kind of almost rings this slightness of like an unfair feeling. Which relates to relationships. Human relationships. Lol. Yeah, give me that laughy. Tell me a joke, baby. Tell me a joke, galley. So, big Smirky. Smirky but big. He's like fucking Ghost of Christmas Come. Remember that movie, dude? Fucking Mickey, well, there's an original. I'm sure, somewhere. But a Mickey Mouse, or no, Mickey's A Christmas Carol? Is that what it was? Oops. That part used to scare the fuck out of me, where it's like, I guess, kind of like like a universe or a reality of Donald, I guess, as like a businessman, like a capitalist businessman who fucking, I don't know. I guess he only cares about money or whatever. And he's kind of a bah humbug, you know, I mean, I'm pretty much just explaining the story itself of the original story, I'd guess. I believe it's an adapted story from another. Man. Well, I like to go see if it's actually a building that I can manage. I think I might be able to do a 2-story now. Although I just get by the skin of my chimp. I don't know what this tangent is. I'm just talking about that part where fucking Donald Duck is trying to like fucking sleep. Like Rockefeller Duck is trying to fucking sleep, and then all of a sudden there's a fucking cog. Dude, this guy looks so cool. He literally looks like fucking Holmes. Oh yeah, I don't know if I want to even risk it. I feel like I just want to talk to the guy, man. You know, man. Just let me talk to the guy, man. This week's thing has been kind of about relationships. I've been thinking about how, you know, I haven't had like a steady girlfriend or like a relationship, like, you know, a significant other in years, I guess. The last girlfriend I had was so on and off that, like, at a certain point, it just felt like it wasn't even a boyfriend girlfriend thing anymore. Like, it's hard to remember it as such. It feels like our real relationship parts, whatever that means. I don't mean to use the word real, but the main, I guess, parts of it seem to be in the earlier days of our relationship, which would have been like probably like 2017 or maybe even fucking earlier than that. I don't know. I don't really know. Things get kind of lost in the sands of time, you know? Stuff like that. I don't know what years, whatever happened. You know this. Spiffy here. I'm thinking about how, as a person that I guess acquires relationships like any other, how I kind of function as a human, as a friend. And I think that reality has become kind of distant. Like, I used to be in I guess maybe even in high school, I guess in high school, early high school, and then schools before that, like junior high, middle school. I used to be a real clingy type of guy. Always trying to hang out with my friends, always trying to set something up, asking people if they want to hang out every day. I think there was kind of a point, and probably multiple points, when I would like make rounds in the classroom at the end of the day asking all the people I knew or was comfortable enough with if they wanted to hang out on a certain day. Usually there was somebody, you know. Spin doctors. Spin doctors. And this is something I've been thinking about for like the past, I guess, maybe year or so. But I think right now it's having another moment where it's like being kind of put at the forefront of my mind a little bit, in the front seat where I can see it, you know. And I had this friend, I don't even know if I want to get into like this whole story because it was going to be like an hour-long episode. Why not? I've had like the last 3 episodes were like an hour long. Well, actually, the last 2 was about an hour in recording, but split into 2 episodes. Whatever, you know. I don't mind these longer recordings now, but I think soon I'm going to stop. I'm just going to go back to the normal episode length. I had this this friend named John, and I knew him since like 2nd grade in middle school, in grade school, elementary, and then it wasn't really until like middle school where we met up, actually, because of one of my other friends on Xbox. We met, and we basically just hit it off. I really don't remember what, but I basically remember like the first moment where I was talking to him, and we were playing Modern Warfare 3 on hard hat. And I think it was like a private match where the 3 of us, me, my friend, and John, we were all like quick scoping. And he was fucking us up, probably, naturally. And, yeah, so we hit it off, and then we were pretty much best friends for a long time. And then, you know, there would be others, and it's kind of hard to just be like, yeah, who's my best friend for that from then on. It's not really like that, but yeah, I mean, maybe that summer or that, like, era, yeah, we were best friends. And we basically were, like, I guess, the quote, blood brothers. We were, like, just ultimately inseparable. Like, yeah, we would take moments, and yes, we would get in some pretty gruesome fights too. But we would always be able to relate to each other so well. And I could just go on about it. But he was probably one of my first, like, for lack of a better term, blood brother-esque friends. That's just like everything seems to just connect. And it really feels like a loving, you know, significant relationship. And, oh, here we go. Hey, buddy. That's funny. Oh, shit. Fuck. I don't think I can kill him like this. Maybe I can, I guess. Just keep hammering it. I remember this one point, I think it was like at the very beginning of high school, he had a girlfriend. And this is so funny too, actually, that I'm gonna bring this up. But he had this girlfriend, and you know, that's the thing too, is like I said his name, and now I'm gonna be telling stories about him. It's like, I don't mean to, like, dox or publicize this, but I feel like I'm just speaking really just more about me and what I saw, and I feel like I at least have somewhat of a right to that. So he had this girlfriend, and I guess I kind of remember feeling a little bit separate from him around that time. But it was actually mainly when him and his girlfriend broke up. Like, I remember little moments and little things I remember seeing about their relationship. And then when they broke up, he was, like, more banged up than I ever, like, he was fucked up by it. Like, permanently damaged, you know? I thought that it was going to be, like, a few days or something, or maybe a week. But, man, like, I would message him, and he was so monosyllabic and just, like, fucking, I never know if I'm saying that word right. Monosyllabic? So, you know, he was just so distant, and it felt like he was just a totally different person. He was just totally fucked up by it. And I feel like it was not to blame him or to blame that relationship or that existence, because Chimp knows I fucking probably, as a friend, being the kind of friend that I used to be when I was a kid and or a teen, was not the best. But, you know, I feel like it was around that time where I feel like life started to, around the first time, it started to hammer. Like, it started to rain, it started to thunder, and it wasn't all just like laughs and games and then sometimes getting angry. It was like the first taste, probably not the first taste, but at least in terms of this topic, one of the first tastes of, like, existentialism that I ever felt was like, whoa, no sunshine and rainbows. Feels like there's no end to this. It's just a long white hallway that just is ever expanding as you walk. It's just this unending dread, and it's like, where did it come from? Like, why is it here? And what happened to the happy times? What happened to all the games and the laughing and the joking? And you just want to get back to that, and you're almost, I mean, I'm talking about me. This is how I felt. This maybe not how anybody else might have felt during times similar to this one, but, you know, I almost felt kind of selfish, I guess, about Like, when can we get back to this? Is there gonna be a time, you know, where we can get back to business? I guess. Whoop. What the fuck? What? It's lagging a bit here. I don't really know why. I'm never good at talking while I fucking play this. I always... Last 2 times I've played this game, I've lost. Because I'm talking. And somehow it, like, distracts me from being able to remember right off the bat where shit is. Oh. Oh my god, look at me go. Got a banana peel, fucking... Yeah, this is a throw. It's a throw for Gary the sequel. I'm over it. So... yeah, you know, you just kind of get this, I just kind of got this feeling where I was almost kind of selfish, like I'm like wondering when things were going to go back to normal. And you know, it's not like I hadn't had relationships. I'd probably definitely have at the time. But I feel like I just, you know, I wasn't super selfless, and I wasn't, you know, I lived my childhood kind of thinking that I was the only human, you know. Like, there were other people, but they didn't have millions of experiences that were, like, ultimately kind of similar to mine, and feelings and desires and this and that. They were just, like, faces and people, and I just didn't... It didn't click as a kid, I guess. I just didn't give a shit about what other people were going through, and I guess I thought it was like a fucking... not invalidated, or invalid, but, I guess just... I guess I just thought it wasn't as serious if it wasn't happening to me. So, that was me as a kid. Or as a teen. Not proud of it. But it's what was. So... Oh shit, fuck! It's fucking Spidey. What? Gangy, what the fuck? Oh yeah. Oh yes. I don't know. This story is gonna be long and terribly explained. I mean, if there's any a game... What the fuck is that, bro? If there's any a game to tell the story while playing, it's probably this one, but, still, I'm not the greatest multitasker. Oh, dude. That is just some ass shit right there, if I've ever seen it. Okay. So, anyway. I don't know why I felt the need to go way back to the beginning of our friendship. But, I guess it's grounds, right? I don't know. It's soil, fertile soil to build from. I don't really need to get into the whole fucking, like, timeline from there. I just remember that from then on, he just never was the same, you know? Like, it felt like eventually things changed back. Well, never changed back. It felt like things were okay again at some point. And it was very gradual. It was never like a click. It was never like, bing, things are okay. Because we know that's not how things go. But I guess maybe I was expecting something like that. And, you know, he's just never the same again. And, neither was I. I went through something of a mourning period of my own. I was mourning like my friend's mourning, and what had happened to him, and kind of figuring it all out and processing what it meant for me, what it meant for him, this and that. And it was a very serious, very significant point where we both, in a way, sort of entered our kind of a depression era, where it was our teen years. It was time to be sad and edgy and listen to 3 Days Grace, and that's exactly what we did. We kind of, that's almost in a way how we coped with that era of our lives, was that we both related to this kind of emo-ness, you know? Anyway, you know, the story starts with me being a very clingy person, somebody who really wanted to constantly hang out with folks and really just, I guess once I figured out what friends were, I thought that I always wanted them, and I always wanted more, and I always wanted to be kind of coalescing with people, overlapping with them. And, you know, I don't really know how to fast forward this story, because I feel like maybe the in-between isn't as significant. But it was maybe a year ago, or no, maybe around 2019, where maybe we didn't really talk as much by this point. And, I remember the new Modern Warfare remake game was coming out, and we were talking about it here and there. And then when the game came out, we spent like a good week really just grinding it. And it was just like the old days of Modern Warfare 2 and 3 and Black Ops 2. We were just playing COD, search and destroy, talking shit to people online. That was just the good old times, and we actually were able to go back, you know, and do it again. And yeah, it wasn't the same, but it was as close. It's like Toontown. These moments like that are as close as you're gonna get. Like last summer, I played this game for months and was somehow just addicted to it all over again, like I was when I was little. But you know, it's not ever gonna be the same as it was when you're like homesick, when you're 10 years old and playing it on a shitty laptop that's burning your legs over a blanket or something. It's never quite that feeling again. But it was around that time, I feel like, that we kind of had moments where oh, that's ironic. We kind of had a few moments, I think, where we were having like differences in, I guess, worldviews. That's how it felt. And it sounds kind of funny because it's like, that's such a weird way of putting it. And that's how like a friendship ends, is because of one's politics or one's like fucking one's nothing they can control but have opinions about. It's kind of funny and kind of silly and kind of pathetic, but also a thing. There we go. Got a level 6. Good. I thought that's a level 8. And, you know, nothing really happened that was that bad. We never really fought or had quarrels or anything, but we just had a few. I just remember a couple of moments where some things were said, and I was just like, eh. Or maybe some things were said, and he was like, eh. And it was just like, okay, you know, this long span of time where we were friends, and then we weren't, and then we had, I think we even had like, maybe around high school, like a 2-year period or something maybe, where we just didn't even talk. We just weren't even friends. So it's not like we were best friends for every fucking day, you know. We had our moments, and we had definite time to like grow and drift apart and be ourselves and be alone and do other shit and never think about each other. So it's not like we were completely inseparable, because that just wouldn't be telling the truth at all. But I remember after that, we didn't really talk much. And then I think maybe it was almost 6 months ago by now. I love how I'm like going to check my messages like it's some fucking July of last year we were talking, and you know, by this point in my life it's kind of like weird that I didn't edge this into the story, but at some point gradually I started going from being super clingy and I guess attached to people, needing to be around somebody, to being this very, and it really turned its table, to being this just, oh, what the fuck? Okay, I didn't get it. To being this very reclusive, like, and I think it was oh shit, there's a fucking spin cock right there. Nice. Very recluse, like, never really asking, not being the one to message first anymore. These things just kind of changed. Like, I stopped caring about people, humans. And, you know, eventually, and this is kind of just like like, I don't know. Maybe I was just losing touch with reality. Maybe, I was just lonely. I don't think so. But I have yet to really figure out what drove me to reclusivity, other than just maybe leaving high school. I made the choice to leave high school early and just not finish school. And I thought I was just going to do something else. And I pretty much just left my friends. I just left everybody without a word. And it wasn't like I wanted to, you know, cease contact with everybody, but it was like as if I did. It was like as if I snapped my fingers and everything just stopped. I haven't hung out with like a single friend since high school, which would be like 2017 now or something, maybe 2018. I don't know. And you know, from then I just started to be alone, and I guess some part of me realized, oh, you know what? I think I kind of remember. I just hit me. It was, yeah, you know, partly high school, but I remember now. I just now remembered the first thought that made me that introduced me to this kind of mindset was actually kind of having to do with John, which is actually funny. I didn't even know that. Like, I totally forgot. Maybe it was in my subconscious, but I actually remember there would be some points during summer break of school where I would go on these binges and hang out with friends, certain people, every day. Like, I had this one friend I hung out with. We went to the park and biked like every day for like a half a week or a week or something, and we made all these plans, and then we never saw each other the whole summer and stuff like that. And I think there was a moment where I was talking to John before school ended one year, and I was just like, dude, when it gets warmer out, we gotta do stuff. We gotta go biking and shit, you know, it's gonna be great. And he was like, yeah. And then, you know, those moments, they came around, it got warmer, and I think I remember there was one moment where I went to the park and I was waiting for him, but he was like sleeping in, and I was so upset, just kind of waiting around, not knowing if he was coming. I didn't know he was sleeping. And it was, I think, around that moment where I was thinking to myself, I started to think to myself, I guess I was just trying to process or find a way around, I guess find out why I was feeling this way, and if it was right, or if it was normal, or if it meant that something needed to change in me or in someone else or whatever. And I think then, like, that summer went by or something, and then by the next summer, I think this could be totally, like, problematic storytelling, by the way. By the next summer, and that's like 80 years chronologically. I think by the next summer, now, it was like the mindset had developed into, hey, I really would love to hang out with friends this year, and specific people even. But if they're not gonna, they're not gonna put in the effort, if they're not gonna be around, then I'm still gonna enjoy this summer just the same on my own. Like, if I can't do it with anyone else, I'm not gonna let that. I'm gonna try. That was my thinking. Is that I'm gonna see if I can just do it on my own. And I guess it was around that where I just kind of, it started kind of revamping me. Started really just changing me a lot. It became this this lifestyle where I was just kind of alone, and I was doing my own thing, and I was in my own head, and I kind of stopped worrying about other people. It helped a lot, in a way, helped me with my anxiety. It helped me with the way I perceive other people's seeming perception of me. I guess in ways I stopped caring about what people thought, even the closest people. I stopped putting myself in these categories, or there's just so many things. It just changed my entire life. It changed me completely. Changed how I manage my relationships completely. It changed how I mended them. Well, I guess that falls into managed. Changed how I slept. Changed how I ate. It's just everything. Really did. I mean, it's mostly nuanced, admittedly. It's not like this is like the sole reason I am who I am, because it's not. But I spent a lot of time alone, and a lot of that time was spent happy. And I forgot about like the word lonely. I forgot about that. And I was never lonely. Like, people would say, "Oh, I'm feeling lonely," and I would see people say that, and I would or hear people say that, I guess, and I would just not understand. Because I feel like maybe when I was super clingy, I was super lonely, and I just didn't think to use that word. But I guess I just never thought I was lonely until I wasn't lonely anymore. and I still don't know. I still don't know if I was really lonely. But I know that it became, I at least know that it became, I was alone. Wasn't lonely, but I was definitely alone. And I learned to embrace it and just love it and just be myself. And it's like I wasn't my own person until then. I think it would be great if everybody probably spent a little more time alone than they initially had pegged for themselves. Maybe it would do some good. I don't know. Felt like it did some good for me. A lot of good. Probably fixed me up where I was lacking. But who's to say, right? But because of this, stuff changed. And I stopped pandering, and then I started getting almost, maybe, I guess, a little hostile. Where it was like, I think there was like a couple of points where John wanted to hang out or something, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think so. and I didn't think of anything of it right then, but I guess something fell off about rejecting someone to asking me to hang out with them. It felt weird being the person who's like, yeah, I think I'll pass today, or no, I think I'm okay. I'm not really into it. Whatever it was, whether I felt like I was busy or I had something else I wanted to do, it felt weird being on the other end. And it took me a minute to realize that. but it felt weird as soon as I was started saying no to people in that regard, which just like just more myself, more, and gradually more selfish, of course, in turn. And then, you know, so for somebody like for a situation like me and John, gradually we kind of started to fall apart from that. And I remember there were points when he would bring it up and point out how it was peculiar, or he found it strange. That I seemed distant, or he seemed like I didn't give a shit. And I guess maybe that was a little true, but in my eyes, it was only as true as it was when he did the same thing to me, or others in general did the same thing to me. And so I told him that. I was just like, honestly, dude, I mean, I think it's funny, and in a way, I guess I'm flattered. But it's like an ironic flattery. It's ironic to me that you're saying to me what I was basically saying to you. You know, all those years ago or whatever. So yeah, it was, I believe, July. We were kind of having a conversation, just talking, and you know, we were just talking, and I have this kind of habit of just kind of speaking gibberish and not really saying anything when I speak. And he brought it up, and I was kind of taken aback, and I was like, really? He said something like, yeah, sometimes it's kind of like just mindless when we talk now. And I was a little bit taken aback, and I was a little bit confused. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's just how I am. Like, I figured he would have known. And he was like, yeah, you know, it kind of sucks that we'll never really, like, I know that, you know, we used to, I don't really know you know, and this is something I've been thinking about for a long time, so it's almost like I'm vocally still articulating and processing it. So you have to forgive that this story is really just coming out of like this is something that I've been kind of thinking about here and there for months now, and now, like I said, it's made a forefront in my life this week or so it's making me think about it more, and I feel like, okay, I want to try talking about it, see if I can dish out or process more of what I believe is important about it. Whatever kind of conclusion or closure I can bring myself, and whatever feels like corruptive, if there's something immoral about, like something wrong that I've done or something wrong that someone else has done, something that I don't find fair, and why. So this is just in the moment processing, so you have to forgive if it's like, if I say something that sounds stupid or selfish or whatever the fuck. This is just me off the cuff. I can take as long as I want to try and process things in my head, but once they come to my mouth, it doesn't really do them any more justice than they were in my head. Unless I keep talking about it and keep thinking about it. Polish those thoughts. I like lost my train of thought now. But yeah, I mean, oh well, yeah. So I kind of just, it was in that moment where he mentioned, he basically just said, like, you know, it kind of sucks that that this is how our conversations are now. Because, you know, I guess what he meant by that is, like, I guess we used to have really, like, cerebral, just philosophical discussions all the time. Which, you know, we always used to just be nostalgic. We'd hop in a call after a long time, and we'd just bring up the same old stories. And that gets redundant, but it's also, it has its, you know, quality, it has its beauty to it. But yeah, you know, we really connected. I think it's true, we did connect a lot deeper. And then I just guess I became this person where it was just like no conversation is serious, and everything I said is just kind of like maniacal. Like, it was just very random mindless gibberish that I'm always saying, references that no can't expect anybody to understand, so I say them anyway and stuff like that, and just kind of just saying. It's kind of like the way I talk to Chaz in a way. It's just like saying what I feel, saying what comes to my head instantly, the references or whatever, and it's almost like a kind of like an obscure art form of speech where you're just kind of talking. Just like it's like rapping. It's like interpretive rapping or something. Almost. You're just kind of saying shit, and whatever comes to your head, you just say it, and that's just the conversation. And so I guess John wasn't really having it. And he basically told me, he was like, it kind of sucks that it'll never be the same, but I've also accepted that as you now, and it sucks, but that's you, and I still love you. And in my head, I didn't really have a clicking moment. I guess maybe I did in a sense. I had kind of a click. But I guess one of my first thoughts was like, okay, this is just it. Because I feel like I've become my own person, and I'm not exactly displeased with my mindless gibberish because I think it's funny. But I also could see how it would bother somebody. But it's like I was just being myself, and I wasn't in like a bad mood or anything. It's not like, I wasn't being myself. I was. And he was just kind of vocalizing his, I guess, existentialism about the way we are now. And so I guess I had kind of a click where it was just like, okay, I guess he's not saying that he doesn't want to be friends anymore, but I'm thinking that it's like, this is just who I am now. And if this is going to depress him, then it's going to depress me. And so I think either I could act like somebody I'm not, and just do whatever it is differently, and then just feel this extra pressure, I guess, to go back to being this person that I apparently used to be. I just kind of thought, I guess this basically means that one of the two of us needs to make it. Well, it doesn't need to, but I felt that one of the two of us had to make a decision of, are we going to keep the facade? Are we going to keep it going? Or is it just going to, is this going to be the moment of sorts where it's going to flood away? Where it's going to kind of blow away with the wind? And so, yeah, throughout the next couple of months probably, or throughout at least the next couple of days rather, I guess I was stretching it. Of course, naturally, I was thinking about it a bunch. And I remember I sat down maybe a couple of times, and I did what I always do, which is type out this huge fucking thing that's like voicing what I'm feeling about what he said, and what I'm feeling about us and me and him, and how we're different, and what that means, and what that's all about, and my frustrations with him, and my frustrations with myself. And I probably got like halfway through it, and I probably was thinking to myself, wow, this makes no sense, it's so convoluted and this and that, and he's gonna think that this is like fucking disintegral, or he's gonna laugh or think it's pathetic that I'm upset about this or whatever, maybe shit like that. And I just thought it was so disorganized, all these thoughts, and I had been noticing that that's what it's become anyways. All my thoughts are just jumbled together, and it's so hard to like properly articulate how I feel, even in the biggest of paragraphs and essays that I could write. 'Cause it's just all too confusing. And so I typed this whole, big thing, and I've maybe got like 3/4 of the way done with it, or maybe only like halfway done. And I was kept reading it over, and I was just like, this is just not even. And then all of a sudden, is this the one that? Okay. All of a sudden, I guess another thing clicked. Another clicking moment. And I just thought to myself, kind of waved my hand in my mind. And I thought, why bother? Honestly. I thought, honestly, why fucking bother? Just forget it, What are we gonna do here? What the fuck is going on? This is not gonna hit. Okay. Yeah, it was a depressing moment, and it was just like, the thing is, I guess, and it's kind of like what I'd been noticing was happening already with me and other people, or just me and with life, is I was starting to look at things a little more stoically. And, I guess I was just thinking, about a lot of things. I was just thinking, can't please this person, why bother? And that's, I guess, where I arrived at with someone like John. With John, I thought, fuck it, I'm different now. And I think there was a point where he was like, oh, you've changed so much, and I've barely changed. And that part of what he said pissed me off, because I was like, that's obviously not true. It's not. He's like, it's all me. That's obviously not the case. And I'm sure he'd probably agree with what he said to this day, but and I would disagree with it to this day. So I was just like, it was just a thought. It was like, I guess it was like the link broke. Not that it can never be a thing, but it just broke in that moment. For that moment it broke. And I was just like, can't please this guy. I'm not gonna try to. Why bother? Just let it fizzle out. Let it end. If it has to end, it'll end. And you know what? I bet you he'd probably agree with what I'm saying right now. He'd probably, if he heard this, he'd probably concur and be like, yeah, honestly, if it has to end, then it'll end, and that'll be it. I'm sure he'd probably agree with that. Though I don't know if he agrees that it should have ended or whatever the fuck. Obviously that's where we differ. Nice outfit. Nice outfit, Chief Pickles. But yeah. So I just kind of, in a way, I guess I just kind of gave up. And it was like, it felt weird because I was like, should I be giving up? Is this what life is about? Is this the moral thing to do? Should I be giving up, or should I be changing myself to please someone else? Whatever. All these thoughts were going through my head. Like, is it a problem that I'm letting this go? Like, would most people look down on this? Is this to be looked down on? That I'm gonna let this happen? That I'm not gonna stand up for myself or stand up for our relationship and all it stood for? But that was like 7 months ago. Well, going on a year ago. And we haven't really talked since. He sent me a couple of like random messages, and I just, I didn't really. I mean, I guess I ignored them, which I don't feel too great about. But also, I felt like in those moments where he sent me a couple of messages, I felt like, what is there to be talking about? What is there to talk about between you and me? Are we gonna keep trying to keep this thing alive, or are we just gonna leave each other alone? Not that it has to be one of two things, but that's how I was feeling at the time, was just like, I just wanted to leave it alone. Just wanted to let it be. So that's kind of that's my story. There's parts of it left out. There's parts of it that are blurry. There's parts of it that I'm still battling cognitively. There's parts of it that I'm sure I'm contradicting myself. There's parts of it where I'm not sure if I can remain integral about, or hold my ground about, or whether I was right to do whatever or whatever. But it's just life. It's just my life. These are the decisions I've made, and this is just how it's been. And what's funny is that the purpose of this video was for me to sit down and talk about a current thought, which I've been briefly mentioning, is that bringing this kind of mindset or topic of my life, into the forefront of my mind for the past week or so, maybe give or take, has been about me having a new girlfriend, and things have recently seemingly become a little more distant between me and a couple of my friends, and me and my video making, and me and my streaming, and stuff like that. And, for example, me and, well, I don't even know if I should get into this, because it's like almost currently developing. So I almost feel like maybe it shouldn't even be discussed yet, but it's definitely been an internal dialogue of mine where, like, for example, Chaz has been streaming, and he'll kind of say like something about Allie, or something about, like, he'll make like a joke, I guess. And yeah, that's what I've perceived them as, is like jokes. He'll say something like, you've changed. And he says that every time he said that, I laugh. Because it sounds like some kind of thing you'd hear in like some teenage movie, right? It sounds pretty cliche. And then after a couple of days, or maybe a few days of hearing that kind of joke repeated, I started to like realize, wait, that's actually, like, it's kind of just a funny thing that he's saying, but it's actually true. Like, yeah, I haven't been streaming, and I haven't been around. And some people, I haven't returned their messages. Things have changed. I've changed. We've all changed in turn. We're always changing, of course, but just in this sense, and because of this catalyst, this situation in my life has kind of temporarily shifted tectonics of what's going on, and what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. In some ways, some things are completely the same, but in a lot of ways, some things are completely fucking different. And it's gotten to the point where I'm actually like having moments throughout my day where I'm actually just wondering if Chaz, for example, was ever actually joking. or just kind of saying that ironically, or just saying it to say it, you know. But I guess maybe he was never joking. Maybe, I guess what I'm wondering is was he upset that I was distant, or was he upset, or is he upset that I'm distant, or is he upset because I have changed, even though it's not a terrible thing, you know? So it's a thing like that. I'm just feeling like, yeah, I have changed, but also I'm feeling like, but has much really changed? Because as a friend, ever since a few years ago, I've been pretty distant as a friend, and I kind of take a lot of time to myself. And there's plenty of times, I mean, there's times where I even go months without speaking to anybody. Anybody. I mean, I haven't had moments like that very recently, but it's a thing. So, you know, that's just, I guess, that's just where that's where the story kind of falls off to the side of the street. The side of the long and winding road, per se. At the moment, is that's where we're fucking headed off from, is this cognitive thought where it's just like, you know, I have been a little distant, and there's been things that I've been not doing. People I haven't been talking to as much. But then I'm also feeling a little bit integral about it. I'm feeling kind of dignified, like it's been a long time since I've had a significant other that's meant this much to me. In fact, it's basically actually been never. Since this is the first time ever that I've had a significant other mean this much to me. So it's a very jarring experience. It's very shocking, and it really has taken me out of my life. And the whole time I've been feeling it, except gradually. And the whole time I've been thinking, you know, well, I mean, I'm gonna get back. Obviously, I'm gonna get back to my life. I just don't really know when. I assume it'll be gradual, where it's just like, oh yeah, okay, turn on my computer today and do this recording and, you know, return this guy's message or reply to this comment or whatever the fuck it is that I do, which is basically nothing. But, it's not nothing. But, were there not trees here just now? What happened to the trees? I swear there were trees there in another district. What the fuck? Where am I going? Where am I going? I don't know where I'm going. So yeah, that's just, like I said, that's kind of where we're coming off of the heels of that. Where I'm just kind of thinking, I'm wondering to myself, you know, what's next? You know, I don't mean to be super distant, and I personally feel like it's not a huge deal. But that's me. And I don't know how anybody else genuinely feels. And at the end of the day, one of the only people I'm really truly on a every day or every other day basis with is somebody like Chaz. Can't really think of anybody else who I'm talking to all the time like that. But, you know, also it's just like it's just a thing. It's just like, if we take it out of us, it really is just a thing, like out of a movie. It's just, or just out of life and then out of a movie. It's something that happens. People drift apart, or we have phases, or eras of certain things. And I hope that, like, for example, me and Chaz's era isn't over. Maybe this era of the era is over, but I hope that he's not, like, bitter with me or something. And I don't know if he's gonna watch this. I don't know why I always record these videos like I don't really know who I'm telling these stories to. I think things have disappeared. Wasn't there supposed to be like a bunch of stuff here? Like models and shit? Where'd that go? I don't know what's going on. The cog stole on Instagram. So, yeah, I feel like I'm just living life how pretty much just living life. I'm having a moment. And, things are different right now. But I feel like I have this kind of integrity about it. I feel like it's not like it's a horrible thing. And I feel weird about, I can't even tell if it's a legitimate pressure that I should be balancing things in my life, whether it's relationships or things that I do annually. I almost feel like, it's just in my nature to not always constantly be balancing those things and not always be in a completely healthy relationship with everybody I know, or not always be talking to somebody, or it applies to everybody. So the story started with me and John, and now it's seemingly about kind of Chaz, and I guess in my head it feels kind of ironic because I was gonna start talking about Chaz a little bit, but then the story about John came up first, and I feel like that story resonates with this one, or this current progressing, unfolding experience. And I just feel like this is a moment in my life where things feel a little weird, things feel a little awkward, but also they feel like they shouldn't not be happening. It's just life. It's just a moment. It's always just a moment. So I don't really know where to go from there. I guess that's the end of my rant. I guess to summarize, I'm just feeling like things feel weird right now because my whole life was just kind of thrown off beat completely, off of the rhythm, off of the song even. And I've heard joke, I've heard tale about me being distant, and I'm thinking to myself, but am I really? And is it such a problem? I think to add to it, I'm thinking to myself a lot of the time, and I think I was talking to Allie about this yesterday when we were briefly kind of back and forthing about it. I mentioned something like, I guess maybe it's just that the last few years of my life I've had friends and I've been distant with them, and I guess I was in kind of losing touch with reality maybe, and maybe I've forgot that my real friends were my real friends, even while simultaneously knowing I was being distant and kind of just going on my own way. And now it feels like how to put it? I wish I could just pull up the message. Can't really word it the way. I guess, okay, yeah. I guess what I've been thinking, maybe unconsciously, is that I guess I think maybe I just haven't been aware if slash that people have wanted me around. Now that I'm in this significant relationship, You know, I've been spending a lot of my time on that because it feels significant. And my relationship with Chaz, for example, has felt significant. But also, on the same token, where Chaz is probably similar to any other person, is it feels like it kind of feels like I maybe just in my mind I feel like I don't need to be around. It feels like I'm not vital, you know? It feels like if I slip out the back door for a few hours, nobody's going to notice, nobody's going to care. That's kind of how I've felt my whole life, I guess. So, I guess that's where I stand, is I feel bad that I have been distant. Whether anybody has been noticing that or taking it seriously or not, I feel bad regardless. But also, I feel like integral about it, like I should be able to, because I do anyway, and I have anyway, for different reasons and similar reasons, all the same. So that's my fucking story. And I need a mingler, and I've been on and off trying to think of where to go to see minglers. I don't want to do a cog factory right now. A key from the fucking minglers. Now this is a sell bar, right? I don't know. Yeah. Well, I don't think, yeah, we can't get minglers, right. Okay, so this is like a moment where I'd have to find in a building. So we're basically not, I guess we're going for the, I guess we are going for the cog factory. It's too bad. I don't really want to do this, but let's do it. So that's my story. That's my current story that's my current to end off the point, I guess, where we began. Always a struggle, you know? Always some kind of internal struggle / dialogue that's happening. Every day is like a week. Every week is like a month. Every month's like a year. In that there are things, these segments of time and struggle where we are uncertain about what is going on, what's the right thing to do, whether to take it seriously or how seriously to take it. All sorts of stuff like that. It being whatever. This is another moment in my life. Another day, another problem, another day, another quandary, another experience. And yeah. I'm not, not feeling too bad about it. I mean, I'm sitting here right now recording a video. And I've been thinking about doing a stream, although streaming has felt a little bit insignificant, admittedly. The past couple of weeks. Don't really know what to do. But yeah, it's just been like this. Look at all these fucking... We're kind of late on some of these. Kind of late on some of these items. It's a little bit February now. I guess it's still cold enough here for that kind of shit. Ha 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 ha. Yes, I think Jellybert needs a hat. I'm just now having this thought. I don't know if it's because of Gary. Yes, yeah. Yeah! Oh! Oh. Valentine's Day, I guess. Oh, that's not hearts, is it? Valentine's Day jelly. How many birds do I have anyway? I guess we're not doing a building because there's nobody really around. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just end it off here, I suppose. Oh, there's Jelly's job. I guess maybe he needs a backpack. Yeah, I guess he would look kind of okay with a bag. But I like the jean jacket look he's got going here. Or whatever that is. It's denim, maybe? I don't even know if I know what denim is. Alright. Well, yeah, I guess that's pretty much the Shmepisode. And, you know, this one won't be up for a while, so that also is kind of comical because, you know, it's, this I guess mindset might be old. This might be a little aged, or a little, what's the word? What's the word that fucking what's his name uses in Breaking Bad when he wants to paint, or I mean El Camino, when he wants to paint the house, he's like, I painted it blank color, whatever, but it's looking a little blank. Tired, I guess. Mindset will be a little tired. Or the thought, the line of thought will be a little tired, I'm sure. But, anyway, it's what's been on my mind a little. Been kind of fighting that internally, wondering if there's already been something irreparable that's happened where it's like too late and this era is over and now things are going to change permanently, or things already have changed permanently. Things like that. And is it warranted? Is it deserved? Is it okay? Guess that's really it. Yeah, man. Jelly's 45 laugh. The series is it's moving along. It's chugging. It's slowed down, but also in a way not really, because 45 laugh. I mean, Jelly's looking kind of spiffy. I mean, he's getting stronger. He's getting more familiar as the episodes go by. Yeah. It's a weird moment. Weird moment. It's definitely strange. Strange times. Like a nice long alleyway. Just don't know what's going on in there. Been thinking about one film in particular that I've been able to relate to since I first watched it. I think I've watched it about 4 or maybe 5 times now. Inside Llewyn Davis. Quickly becoming one of my favorite all-time films, and definitely one of my favorite Coen Brothers films. And one of my favorite moments in the whole film is, well, there's actually 2 moments, and they're pretty much similar to each other, but I'll name one of them. My favorite moment early in the film is when Llewyn is, I mean, you would have to go see the movie. I don't know why I'm about to describe it. But Llewyn comes down, he rushes down the stairs because a cat that he's looking after has gotten out the window. So he's running out of the apartment in a frant and in a fuss, and he pushes a guy he was just talking to, who was just in a room, currently walking down the stairs to leave the apartment. He pushes that guy to the side of the stairs and jumps down the rest of the stairs and runs into this quiet, calm, dead alleyway to look for the cat, where you think it might have ran off to. And then he comes out the alleyway and looks down the sidewalk and sees the guy he just pushed, distant now, way down the sidewalk, walking away, carrying his guitar and his bags. And it's just one of my favorite moments in film, honestly. All-time favorite film moments right there. It's just so quiet, and he's just staring at somebody who was just there, peculiarly kind of walk away, and it gives this kind of strange feeling. Kind of makes me think about, should I be letting him walk away? Would he help me if I ran up to him and asked him to help me look for the cat? And he's so far away already. And where is he gonna go? And will I ever see him again? Oddly resonant, honestly, to the discussion of today, this episode, I suppose. I just found that now. What I was saying that is oddly similar. Kind of symbolic, maybe. That's enough running around Daisy's Gardens ranting about existentialism for today, y'all. Thank you, y'all. It's like episode 54 or something. I don't fucking know. I guess that does it.